Oh, it's such a lovely fall morning out this morning. Oh my goodness, I have spent all morning out here. It's still morning. It's not noon yet, but I really have spent. I had breakfast out here. I had to first come out and sweep all the leaves off. Leaves. Good grief, I said that wrong. Swept all the leaves off of my rug and the couch, which I had a cover on the couch. I had to sweep the leaves off of the cover before I could even take the cover off because there were so many leaves piled up on top of it. So it's crazy. Maybe y'all can see how full of leaves, and I know this doesn't even do it justice because I promise you these are like ankle deep leaves in my yard. I'm not sure if y'all can actually see that or not. Like right here it's thin because I like swept it all away and then swept it out further. But anyway, so back to today's project. I finally finished all of the squares for my first ever quilt, which is also a crazy quilt, which is for my oldest grandbaby. So once I get this one finished, I also get to start on a second one for my second grandson. And then the babies will have to wait a little while till he's old enough to have some likes, and because I'm doing the quilts based on what they like. So I did videos on several of these squares, but then several of the last of these squares I did some video. So I got videos posted of several of the squares, and then I did videos of several of the squares, but then I didn't get them edited, so they didn't get posted. So then I had to go and do some more squares because I had miscounted at first, or I decided to make it bigger. I'm not sure which actually happened, and I am trying so hard not to sneeze. I am allergic to cats, but I don't think it's the cat walking by that caused that to happen. There is something blooming that has my allergies. I know it's fall and everything's like not supposed to be blooming, but I do have a rose bush that is blooming and a few other things that are blooming. I don't think those are the cause. Ragweed and goldenrod are blooming right now too, and a few other things. I don't know what has got me tore up, but oh my goodness, I've sneezed for days. We went to Florida. We're back from Florida. We had so much fun. It was lovely. Oh my gosh, we went, we saw dolphins that swam right up to the boat and kind of played around right beside the boat. Those were amazing. I'll see if I can't tuck one of those videos in at the end of this. We saw manatees. We actually went not deep sea diving. We did go diving, scuba diving, but it wasn't deep sea. It was like a very shallow area where you could go diving, where the manatees are and where they kind of hibernate. So they're not in hibernation yet. They don't let you dive once they're in hibernation, but so we did go diving in this springs area. There was a freshwater spring area where the manatees come in. And we did get to see a manatee in there. There was a mom and a calf in there, but they had moved on by the time we got to the area where they had been. So we missed them in our diving, but gosh, we just had so much fun in Florida. That was a 10.5-hour drive down and back. So it was a really long drive. But I mean, our trip there was just lovely, absolutely phenomenal. So we had such a lovely time, and it was so crazy. The day we came back from Florida was the day that the cold front had come through. So in Florida it was still it had gotten cooler. The whole time we were there it was in the 70s and 80s, so it was really nice. So we were in shorts and t-shirts and even swam in the ocean in bathing suits. So I mean, we had gone from swimsuit weather to come back to sweatsuit weather. I mean, I think it was 60 something when we left Florida, and then the further north we got, the colder it got, and by the time we got home it was 20 something degrees by the time we got home. So we were adding layers to our clothing every time we stopped to eat or whatever on the way home. We'd add a layer of clothing. So Like we were pretty bundled up by the time we made it back, but gosh, it was so strange to come back to that. And thankfully that cold snap has moved on and we're back to actual fall weather. And it is so lovely out here this morning. It's a bit windy. The leaves are blowing around and they keep landing up here, so we might get a few of those. But anyways, that was the recap of our little trip, I guess. But on to the crazy quilt. So this is the pirate square, and I did post the video on it, and this was the steampunk square, and I did post a video on it, which I did this square, I called it the fantasy square because it's got like the steampunk stuff, but it's got like the Viking, like swords and fantasy kind of magic stuff looking to it. So and there's another one with Viking ships and stuff in it. So I did that kind of just to be like a fantasy square, and I've already posted the video on that, and I posted the video on this one and this one, but past this I haven't posted the videos for. So there's the S and the T and the O. And I tried to line this up to where I could get the deer head in here, but that did not work out. And I know right now it looks like there's a bullseye on there. That was my line to make sure I have all of my lettering squared up inside the fabric. See, there's a leaf. And then I had some Harry Potter material that I had done some other stuff with. So I had to make some extra squares, which I'd already had, I already had to do an end square, but since I had to do extra squares, I went ahead and pulled some Harry Potter, because I had this motorcycle material, and I thought I had a, like material with, tools on it that was in these same like blacks and grays shades. But apparently I either didn't get it or I have since lost it. And I don't think I lost it, so I, for some reason, ended up not getting it, I guess. But the Harry Potter material kind of matched the coloring of the motorcycle material, and I felt like this kind of tied in well with Harry Potter because, Hagrid has a motorbike, a flying motorcycle with a sidecar. So I felt like that tied in well. So I was like, there we go. We'll just do that. And then this is the next. I did another Harry Potter square with some, again, extra Harry Potter material that I had left over from another craft that I had done, which I may have posted a video on as well. It was the book covers. I had done book covers out of the Harry Potter material. Ooh, that wind. And then I did this one, and I love this one. Like, I tried to get the whole castle in here, and I tried to get each of the house symbols, logos, in there, and then I had like some extra space on each one of those, so I put in some glasses. But this one, okay, so this one and this one, I did it's called a half chevron. Yeah, I think it's a half chevron stitch. Anyway, so this is a half chevron stitch, and I felt like it kind of looked like a hand holding a wand, because you've just got a straight point up here, and then you've got the base down here. And again, I used that again on this one, but this one I was like, I have already used that twice, I don't want to use that again. So I just did straight stitches to make lightning bolts to look like Harry Potter's lightning bolt, and I think they turned out well. I think they turned out pretty well, so I was pretty proud of that. Not sure how well they're showing up in the video, but I feel like they turned out well. So I'm excited about that. So today's video is really going to be about piecing these together and actually making the quilt. So here are some. I took all of my squares and my materials to the quilt shop yesterday. Ken went up to play disc golf, so I dropped him off at the disc golf course and I went over to the quilt shop, and they helped me make a decision on how I was going to put the quilt together, because now that I had all the squares done, I was like, okay, now how do I connect these? And I was really struggling with how, well, for starters, it's my first quilt and I didn't want to mess it up, and secondly, I was because it's done on felt and I don't have to put batting. I still have to put a back on here, but I don't have to put batting in here. Since it's done on felt, like if you like, you know, seam it like you would normally seam it, so you would sew it together and then you'd fold it out and then iron the seam flat, because it's felt, that would be a really thick seam. So I was really worried about how that was going to turn out. So we had discussed it, and I had the idea of just using fabric strips to connect the sides together, and I really wanted to bounce that idea off them and see if that was an actual thing that I could do and if it would work. And they was like, yes, it would. And then so even after, so I was really excited, and they were so nice. They were so nice, y'all. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take this in and they're going to tell me it's terrible and just to scrap it and start all over. I'm like, these people have been doing quilts for years and years and years, and they're going to look at this and it's going to be, they're going to be blown away. It's going to be terrible. They're going to hate it. They were so nice and they loved it, and it just really made me feel so much better about it. I was like so nervous going in up there, but they were wonderful. So yes, they said you can do that and that will work, and to actually help strengthen that seam right there. So I did do that. So I cut my material, which I've done here, and then I, you know, marked a line on it. And I, you know, sewed each side to the squares I was joining, but then that was still kind of floppy. So then I just did a whip stitch here, coming down through here to kind of hold the felt together, so that, because you just had fabric on each side but nothing here, so to hold the felt together I did a whip stitch there. So that turned out really well, and it's really strong bound now, so I don't have to worry about it coming apart now or being like too floppy right there, but it's also not too thick either, which was also what I was worried about. So that came out so well. So like, I did a video on this one. This was like the second one I did. I did a video of that one, but I didn't do a video of either one of these. But then I had some felt that I covered in some, it's just an L-shaped piece of felt. So I covered it on one side in this chicken fabric, which kind of folded over to the other side, but then I filled in the gaps on the other side with leftover scrap material. And I turned it into this pocket, and I put a button and I put this little piece of material on here to hold it down. So I really love this. I know I said I was going to make pocket squares, and that didn't actually work out the way that I thought it would with doing the crazy quilt part of it. So this is the pocket that I got to add to that. This one, I think this one, and this one, I'm going to come back and add some little extra pieces to these maybe, because I did on these squares. So I have 8 squares put together, and I have, so this makes 2 rows of the quilt, and I have 3 more rows to go. So I'm super excited. But like, I made this little square on a piece of felt with some scrap materials and just like played around with stuff, and I stitched in John 3:16, and then I cut out some of the dinosaurs and their name, and just stitched them on here. And then this one was the first one I done, and I still just love this one. I just love it. I had so much fun with this, and it turned out so good. So still just, so I won't add anything extra to that one, but I did add extra to that one, and I've added extra to this one, which this one was one of the new squares that I did because like I said, I discovered that I needed to make it bigger by 4 more squares. So again, this was a piece that I had done, and this is Psalms 91, which is scripture for protection. The whole chapter of Psalms 91 is about protection, so obviously I wanted to stick that on there for him. And then this is just a little piece that I did to make it, I was just playing around with the materials and the scraps and just seeing, like, using burrow style stitching and stuff, just to really, I mean, and I think this was my first attempt at kind of the burrows kind of stitching, that Japanese shashuko or whatever stitching, where you just do a running stitch through all of it. So it turned out cute. Looks like a little farm with a pond. And so then this, I just cut out a horse out of this material and stuck it in the middle of, and that's actually left over from making the O in his name. So the O, this was the center of the O, and I just had this piece, so I was like, well, let's not waste it. So I just threw it up here and put this horse in the middle, and I thought it looked super cute. And then this video is also posted when I did it as well on this chicken block. And that material, that the fancy chicken material is what I call that one, because it's kind of fancy, is what's on the inside of this. So that's a quick recap of the squares that I made for the quilt. Oh, let's not lose our pieces. We gotta have those. So now I'll show you how I'm connecting them. Well, I've already, I guess, shown you, but I guess I can show you. So let's see. First, I have to decide what squares I'm connecting where and how I want it laid out. Some of those edges still aren't stitched down. So the letter squares are going this way. So those are the ones with the short pieces. So then they make a row, and then I have to cut, once I have all of my rows finished, pieced together, then I'm going to cut long strips to connect all of the rows together. So I guess I could start with that one to kind of show you this wind. I think this wind is going to try to make this like really difficult. So I'm going to stick these extra pieces up under here so they don't blow away. So for starters, I need to do this side of the E. I don't know if y'all remember the video I did a couple of weeks ago, and I showed the clips that I found, which, like I said, these probably been around for a while, but I just found them and I was so super excited about them because they're so handy. And I hate pins because I always stab myself with straight pins when I'm working on something, but this is lovely because I don't stab myself. So then you just pin it in place to hold it, or see, not pin it, you clip it. Clip it in place to hold it. Hello, Max. What are you doing? And I'm gonna need another piece of thread, but I'll use this till the end, till I run out. No need in wasting thread, right? So I come away from the edge, and then I just go back toward the edge. And this is just, because these are going to end up under another stitch as well, so I just kind of put it here, a couple of back stitches to make it strong. And then throughout doing the running stitch, I'll add in a back stitch ever so often. And I hope this is in frame. Hope I don't have it too close to myself. So then you just running stitch along that line, and I marked that line at 1/4 to a little more than 1/4 of an inch off that seam, because some of these I didn't trust myself to cut a straight piece of material. as much as I tried, and yes, I used my mat and I used my ruler, but I don't know, I mean, if you have any kind of luck with cutting straight lines, that's wonderful. I do not, apparently. Like, that is not one of my skill sets. Nor is stitching a straight line without a line to go by. But anyways, I cut it. I only needed the material to be an inch wide, so that I would have a 1/4 inch seam and a 1/4 inch seam, and then those 2 1/4 inch seams make a 1/2 inch. So then that would be, the finished product would be this. So this should be 1/2 inch here. And then the seams underneath would be a 1/4 inch. So that would be a full inch. Well, again, since I didn't trust myself to cut a straight line, I cut it a little bit bigger than an inch. I don't know that I went a full 1.5 inches, but I could have. Especially on the ones I cut this morning. I don't think I did on the ones I did last night, but on the ones I cut this morning, I think I could have done a full 1.5 inches. I think I only did 1.25 inches on the ones I cut last night, just to have extra, but I decided I needed to be a little extra precautious this morning. Mama, you cannot drink my Dr. Pepper. And I am still stuffy. And again, even though I am allergic to the cats, I don't think it's the cats causing the stuffiness this morning. I have done all of my, like, natural, ooh, lordy, the wind, natural remedy, allergy stuff. And I still am having issues. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, didn't work. Didn't work. Although I think I did enough loop-de-loops and knots in there that it'll be fine. Where's my scissors? Ooh, getting attacked by leaves. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna finish attaching this side. I'll show you how to attach the other side, and then we'll go from there, I guess. Okay, I'll be back. So we're back, and that goes really quickly, so it didn't take me but just a minute to do that. So now to attach the next square. So you want to make sure that you're attaching it obviously in the right direction. So this always takes me just a second to remember how to do this. There. So you want to line your edges. And this one is not cut straight, so I want to start on this side and line this side up. Oh, the crows are coming in. For some reason, that sound just screams fall to me. Yes, we have them all through the summer and I think winter too, but for some reason, that specific sound that they make just screams fall to me. I guess because I've heard it every fall of my life, because I've lived here forever. So I guess that's the sound they make every fall. There's little things falling out of the trees too. Okay. And put my thimble back on. Hi, Mama. This wind is making my... I love sitting out here and stitching, I really do. But this wind today is making my thread kind of spiderwebby. So it's blowing a little bit of all over the place. So I'm trying to stay untangled. I hope I'm, again, holding this to where y'all can see it. Boy, this wind is just picking up out here today. Sorry guys, being awful quiet today. It's just so nice stitching out here. It kind of just makes all the thoughts go away. It's just peaceful. Which is really nice. I did my Bible study out here this morning. It was just really nice to be able to sit out here and do that this morning. I'm not sure if the angle of the sun is just right or just wrong right now. It feels a little of both. Oh, come on. Goodness, that just does not want to stay on the needle now. It's not even that short. And I'm not technically using a quilting needle for this, but it's okay. I wanted to be able to load up a lot of stitches So I wanted a longer needle, so I'm using a small, like, well, not super small, but smallish embroidery needle. It's got the smaller eye, but it's, ow, it's still sharp, as you can tell. Ow. I didn't actually mean to do that. I meant to like be like in a longer shaft, but then I stabbed myself anyways. Okay. So I'm gonna get another piece of, oh, there. Yeah. Okay, so now we can take our clips off, put the thimble back on, and then we'll just, so line it up. And I'm doing my best to line up felt corner to felt corner. So then I'm just clipping that down. So then, like, I don't have to go in super far, but I want to come in far enough that I'm catching, you know, a good bit. Like, it's not a full 1/4 of an inch in, but just where I'm in the felt good. Like, I don't want to be too close to the edge of the felt. So I'm gonna make that first stitch, and then I'm just gonna start whipping it from here. Uh-oh. But the ladies at the quilt shop were so nice and so helpful yesterday and made me feel so much better about it. But I'm telling you, I was so nervous going in. I was just like, they're gonna hate this. They're gonna tell me this is terrible. They're gonna tell me I have to start all over, that there's no way to fix this. And I was just like, I mean, I just, you know, all the bad thoughts that you have when starting something new or trying something new or stepping outside your comfort zone. But gosh, they were so nice. And then they were telling me that they have group stitching on Wednesdays, where like anybody who wants to just comes, hangs out, like however long you want to, anytime you want to on Wednesdays, and you just go stitch and talk and share what you're working on with whoever else is in stitching. So I may not get to go every Wednesday, but I am going to start trying to go on at least a couple of Wednesdays. Because it's always nice to bounce ideas, especially when you're starting something new. It's always nice to bounce ideas off of someone who's done it before. And that's, of course, why my husband was like, I'm going disc golfing, you want to go with me? Which he knows I don't, like, I love him, and I have walked around the disc golf course with him a time or two. Well, actually several times when he's played. Just, you know, I just walk and he plays, and that's fine. I normally do that when it's our local disc golf course. I just, He didn't expect me to go walk around with him yesterday though, but I was like, oh, you're going to Huntsville? Yes, I will go. And he was like, you're going to the thread store, aren't you? And I said, I am. So I dropped him off at the disc golf course, wished him good luck, and went to the thread store. See, this goes like just super quick and easy. It's not difficult. And I, like, in my head, I was like trying to make this so much more difficult than it was, and I was so nervous about it. I was like, I've put all this work into these squares and I don't want to mess it up at this point. Like, I've gotten to this point, I don't want to do something wrong and mess it up. So I was nervous. Like, I just wanted to make sure that I connected them correctly and didn't mess anything up. And that was my biggest concern. Those don't line up and match just perfectly, but it'd be okay. That actually hides in the next seam anyway, so not an issue. And if I just absolutely wanted to, I could just trim that little bit off. That wouldn't be an issue either. These are pre-cut felt squares, so some of them may be off by just a little bit. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, up here I'm lined up well. So it's just off a little bit. Not a big deal. Like, if I felt like it was a big deal, I'm not a perfectionist, obviously, so I don't feel like it's a big deal that little bitty, I mean, that's not even 1/4 of an inch off. That maybe 1/8 of an inch off. I don't feel like that's a big enough discrepancy to warrant trimming or concern, really. So I'll just put a couple extra stitches in down here. Come on. And that's too short. It's not gonna let me. I put this. Please. I don't know if that showed up in the camera or not, and it coming across, but it hit me in the face. It's okay. So tie a few knots in that, since my needle came off, and I'm sticking my needle there so I don't lose it. But anyway, that's why I have the towel here. And yes, I throw my thread. I don't know if anybody has a problem with that, but I throw my thread. I figure the birds will find it and use it in their nests. One of my neighbors is whistling. So that is how, oh, let me unfold it here. Ah, that knot is not wanting to cooperate. Okay, so let me unfold this and show you. And then it does pucker a little bit, but like once you pull it, and just kind of like even it back out, it's perfect. And then I just press that, like once I get them all connected, I'll take it in and I'll just press that down, and that seam is done. So EA, and now I have to do the S. So I'll put another piece here, another piece of this here, and then I'll connect the S to the other side of this. So you just keep going like that. So this is almost a whole nother row done. So that'll be 3 rows done, and then I only have 2 more to do. And then I'll start backing it. But that's the video for today, and I'm going to finish connecting all of my squares. on the squares that I said I was going to add some stuff in here or there, whatever, I'll do that before I add, oh, that's that, before I add the backing material on. So any other embellishments I'm going to do to the squares, I'm going to do before I put the backing material on. And then when I do the backing material, I'm going to, I haven't fully yet decided how I'm going to do it. I feel like I'm going to stitch along the seams in a matching color here so that I don't disrupt this lovely material here. So I will do that, and then I will also do some stitching in the squares as well, some quilting stitching as well, to hold, like, just to secure the back material to the front. But again, that'll be a separate video probably, or I'll just show you the finished product and tell you how I did it. I'm not sure yet exactly how that will go, because I do a lot of this sitting on the couch at night or just sitting out here, but I don't video everything that I do, either sitting on the couch or sitting out here. I'm super excited. It's coming along. We're gonna get it done, and you'll get to see the finished product. And bonus, most important thing, my grandson will get to start using it. So I'm super excited about that. And then I get to start working on the next one. So, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Well, the camera died. Anyways, I'm super excited. It's coming along. We're gonna get it done, and you'll get to see the finished product. And bonus, most important thing, my grandson will get to start using it. So I'm super excited about that. And then I get to start working on the next one. So, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Happy stitching. Enjoy whatever you're working on. Tell me, you can drop that in the comments. Tell me what you're working on. I'm super excited about this one, so I can't wait to have it done. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Bye.